Money. Money is power. With it, you can buy literally anything. However, in this video I tried to beat Alisa without buying any items. Items are ammo, medkits, weapons and upgrades. You might wonder why I didn't just title the video Beating Alisa without spending any money. That's because you have to spend money to save the game, which would in turn mean that I can't save the game, and that's something I'm not ready for. I decided to activate the auto-aim feature as I thought it would come in handy to minimize the bullets I would waste. Let's just skip over the intro as there's nothing that impacts the run. After waking up, we pick up the key and the gun from the nightstand. This is the only weapon we are going to be able to use, besides our fists of course. In this room we meet our first enemy, and you will see how we deal with almost all of the enemies in the game, by running away. Killing every enemy would take too much time and just waste our resources. Welcome to the main area of the game. We're gonna pass through here a lot, and since we don't kill the enemies, each time we complete an area, new enemies are gonna spawn on top of them. Our first objective here is to collect a key, the left hand key, which we get by completing this puzzle. And after several minutes of trying to use my brain, we finally obtain the key. Now we have to collect 3 wooden blocks with letters on them. One in the kitchen, one in a bedroom and one next to some statues, to which we are gonna come back later to. With the 3 wooden blocks in hand, we can guess this really hard word and open the door to the passageway. Finally, we arrive at the House of Fun. Here our objective is to collect a key, which we will need in order to collect 3 party hats. Feels kinda familiar. By inserting these gears into this guy's chest, he gives us the cage key. We use the key to get into the rooms with the party heads. One is in a room that looks like it's in space, with the head standing in a big mouth. The next one is just standing next to some clothes. The last one actually activates a special enemy that randomly spawns when we enter a new room. However, this is no problem, since the game plays a different soundtrack when we enter the room the enemy is in. We can just leave and re-enter the room and the enemy has despawned. With the party heads in hand, we make our way into the room where we need to use them. We place them on their respective pedestals and the wall moves through magic, revealing our first boss battle. The first time I played this game I had a lot of problems with this boss fight, since I had to get used to the aiming and the reloading, but thanks to the auto-aim feature I had a pretty easy time. Since I have no idea how to actually dodge his attacks, I just stood there and kept shooting him. After taking out 90% of his health, he starts chasing us by foot. We just keep our distance, shoot once and run away again. And with that, we have beaten our first boss. We obtain a pulse meter and are dropped into the flooded basement, the next area of the game. Before we can continue here, we need to go back to the funhouse, use the pulse meter we just obtained on a clock to get the code for a safe. In the safe, we get clock pointers, which we need to bring to the clock. We input the time and obtain the next key, the I key. This key allows us to enter the library, where we meet a nice fellow that warns us that we are about to be ambushed by an enemy. The enemy actually brought us our next item, the T-handle. This item allows us to channel our inner janitor, which makes us crawl into the machine that controls the elevator. In here we give a hand to a hand that is stuck in the machine and are dropped into one of my favorite rooms of the game. We have to complete this puzzle in a set time, or else we are gonna become pancakes. You might see the game pause for a few seconds sometimes. I actually paused the game as I wanted to make sure not to die, since I had not saved yet. We managed to complete the puzzle just in time, and with that we are back in the basement. In the safe room down here, you can actually unequip your clothes and take a bath, which gives you an achievement, but also, and more importantly, heals our health back up slowly. Every time I took damage, I would come back here and sit in this fountain and wait for my HP to fill back up. You can trust me, we did that a lot. In order to progress down here, we first pull a lever that lowers all the spikes, and then we take a look in a mirror, where we see some colored fish swimming around. With the knowledge of colored fish, we can open a piano, which gives us the fish key. With this key, we can open almost all doors in the basement. Over here, we can actually look down the railing and see the next area we're gonna go to. This makes us draw in an exact map of this place, which will make navigating the upcoming maze a lot easier. In the next room, we meet a doll that asks us to return her missing leg. In order to get it back, we have to defeat a few enemies that spawn in. After helping her, she would have helped us fighting the boss. After some consideration, I decided not to help her, since I don't think it would have been worth the use of our resources. With this decision, we make our way to the next boss. The way over there is flooded and we move very slowly in the water. It's so bad that I actually had to take out the enemies in the water, since I couldn't just outrun them. Later on, I actually learned that I could just have unequipped my dress to move faster through the water. However, this would not have helped me, since I would have taken a lot more damage from the boss. By picking up the Poseidon disc and walking away, we start the next boss fight. This fight was quite a bit harder compared to the first one. We have only enough ammo to take out 95% of her health. The last 5% have to be done by hand, fist. This is easier said than done. Some of her close-up spear attacks actually have a giant hitbox, which you can't just sidestep. The way I did it was to make her throw her spear, after which I could run in to get a hit in and back off again. Also, her hitbox is quite a bit higher, meaning each time I wanted to melee her, I had to look up a bit. After a few attempts I managed to actually beat her, making this the second boss beaten. Now we make our way back to the doll that wanted our help. She's gone, but she left us a book. With the book we make our way back to the library, going through the main area, where quite a few more enemies have spawned now. We put the book back into the shelf, solve a small puzzle and obtain the tree key. I guess we could have just dropped the book on the floor and have skipped the puzzle, but oh well. With the tree key we can make our way into the garden, the second to last area of the game. This area is nothing special. First we complete a small puzzle for a key, the apple key. Now it's time to pull some lever, go somewhere else, pull another lever, go somewhere else again, until we arrive at the next boss fight. This fight is where it gets real. After shooting the last few bullets we have, it's Dark Souls time. We can parry her attacks, which gives us enough time for 3 hits. The second hit seems to always deal no damage. I have no idea why though. Only her overhead attack can be parried. Her attack from below and the AoE attack cannot be parried. After beating her, we obtain the right hand key, the final key. With this key we can open the last door in the basement. Now we ride the elevator from the first floor into the basement, go back up to the first floor, and tada, there's another elevator. This one does not bring us down, but up into the final area. However, the only thing we can do here for now is collect the second disc, the warrior disc, and return to the first floor. Back in the main area of the game, all the enemies have now spawned in. It's actually quite lively here now, even though they are all just dolls. After taking the stairs up and inserting the discs, we are back in the area from before. We do a little bit of stealthing in order to dodge these machine unicorns, pull some levers and stick our nose where it doesn't belong. After being caught by the nice fellow from before, it turns out he is not so nice, and it's time for the second to last boss fight. This fight is the same as in any other playthrough, since we can't heal ourselves during the fight and we don't use any of our own ammo. We just dodge his attacks and attack whenever we have the chance. Now that the nice fellow is a dead fellow, it's time for some destruction. With the items collected from before and a few more from around the place, we craft a bomb to blow up this dollhouse. Just before we're actually able to set off the bomb, we come face to face with the last boss of this game. This fight is surprisingly easy. We can just circle around him, punch him a few times and circle around again. The only real challenge of this battle is not to die of old age, because it just takes ages. With the last blow dealt, we have beaten him and have officially beaten Alisa without buying any items. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you liked this video. And maybe, just maybe, I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye!